One place I recommend in order to help you find a story, a fresh idea to start writing about would be TED Talks because they're already going ahead of you and kind of doing the work of seeking out interesting content. So let's just go to the search bar and I'm going to try, the topic that I have researched in the past. Mail order brides. Sorry, we don't have anything like that, Amber. How about something more simple like, well, this could be fascinating. Marriage. Let's scroll through these and think about what Exchangers is all about and what we're looking for. So the first one, it has nothing to do with marriage. The lady's name is just Marriage. And it says public art that turns cities into playgrounds of imagination. That sounds pretty fresh. I'm kind of interested in that. The case for same-sex marriage, that's probably overdone. It's not as fresh as what we're looking for unless there's some great thought-provoking idea inside of there. And it does say she has fresh, thought-provoking perspective, but that one's kind of on the fence. What you don't know about marriage, how it works, that might be an interesting topic, but it doesn't seem to have like an exigency, something that we can solve or resolve. Now, what's this one? A Marriage of Opposites, Crump Meets Mozart. So that specific TED Talk seems like it's primarily about, or it's presenting a musical performance. But look at this one, A Warrior's Cry Against Child Marriage. I feel like child marriage is probably an underdog story, something that, especially us in America, don't take a lot of time to think much about. So let's get in there and see what's going on. Based on what I'm reading down here about this woman's life, this sounds like it's going to be a very inspirational TED Talk where this young person at the time, before she was 18, is going to really make a difference in her country of Malawi to prevent these instances of young women being sent into child marriage against their will. A little tip for you guys, if you want to watch the TED Talk, that's fine, but since you're kind of trying to hurry through sources to find something, I would suggest just clicking on the transcript. And so that opens up. If you click play, it'll actually, I'll show you, it'll kind of bounce around. See the highlighter? It bounces around so you can follow the TED Talk, read it, and watch it. But what I want you to see about the transcript is if you want to just look at the content really quickly and skim it, that's a way to spend 2 minutes instead of 12 minutes like the TED Talk would last for if we just played it regularly. And you can kind of see if there's an idea in here that fascinates you. I read ahead a little bit in this TED Talk, and what I discovered is this right here. There are laws where 18 is the legal marriage age. Oh, I've got to make her stop. Where 18 is the legal marriage age, but it seems like the leaders are not honoring the law. They're not enforcing it. So down here she says, a law is not a law until it is enforced. And then she goes on to say that one of the solutions is making sure, let's see where it is, that the law is publicized so that girls are aware of what their rights are, and also that these young male advocates would jump in and that men and women would work together to end child marriage in our generation. Personally, I'm kind of fascinated by this topic. It's not something that I think about often, but it feels rather serious and important to me. And it also feels like something that a lot of people would feel, a lot of our readers might feel helpless to do anything about. So what if I could give them, as a journalist, something that they might actually be able to do or a difference that they could make? I'm going, therefore, to this magazine called Good Magazine. Let me show you how I got there. Let's just do a quick... no, this isn't where I want to be. I want to go to Google just regularly. So just go to Google and let's type in. All right, the internet isn't loading Google, but I am in a Google Chrome bar. So I'm just going to search up here and I'm going to type in Good Magazine. And this is good, good.is. And we're going to type in just the basic, the exigency, the problem that I'm curious about right now. Child marriage. And I'm going to see what kinds of articles they've written. Now, I'll let you know, Good Magazine is not, it's not a neutral site. It's full of really opinionated, kind of creative, sometimes a little bit, I mean, maybe liberal leaning writing. No, probably liberal leaning. But what they do pretty well is science, technology, and arts, and also human rights issues. They tend to pick up kind of creative things that are going on around the world. So I like it just to find out new information. And obviously have to take the bias with a grain of salt, but we're using this as an idea generator, not as evidence. So in case that is unappealing to you, I'm asking you to be patient. So these are ads. We don't want these, but this shocked me. The rate of child marriages in America is alarming. Now here's a tip. You're not going to quite see this happen, but I'm just going to open that in a new tab because I know I want to read it, but I want to keep going down. New Virginia law prevents children under 16 from getting married. That's crazy. Sorry, I don't mean to, make evaluative statements quite yet, but I didn't know this was really going on in America. And I already opened the other one, so I won't do this. Here's what happens when child brides go to school. That could be maybe like solution oriented. How goats and school supplies aid the fight against child marriage. All right, let's open that one because that sounds fresh and unique. The year in marriage. I don't know, gay or straight, we all want a life. That sounds, like I've said earlier, kind of unfresh. That's not where I want to go with this right now. And that's probably enough for now. So let's dig into this. The rate of child marriages in America is alarming. Okay. Some really shocking photos. Looks like there are some statistics I could maybe follow up on. It's kind of a short article, but it gives me a little bit of something to chew on. And then this next article, here's what happens when child brides go to school. It seems like it's more of a global perspective, which is nice to kind of learn a little bit more about the background of the issue. And I can see that there are, census statistics and some other sources that I can link to if I want to find out more. That would be a great thing to do to decide if this is what I want to pitch to the team for this quarter's magazine. And this one right here, how goats and school supplies aid the fight against child marriage. So fun because there's a goat and that's unexpected. But this is what I really liked. The United Nations Human Rights Commission issued a resolution calling for the end of child early and forced marriages worldwide as inherently abusive practices. I thought that clicking on this link would take me to a primary source for the United Nations. Instead, it took me to this Yahoo article, or Yahoo, I don't know how to say that. And it seems like it's the primary source that the Journalists for Good pulled their information from. So I could sift through this in case I care about the topic, but there's something about the journalism that I'm not quite bought into. So a possible next step in this kind of, really haphazard research digging process is to go back to Google. I've read a bunch of articles. I've figured out kind of what's piquing my curiosity. I honestly had no plan when I started this video. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm following a line of inquiry or questioning. I'm following my own curiosity and I'm searching for something that fits the exchangers, philosophy and vibe. Something that is fresh, something that people could and should care about, but seems like an underdog story. So what I typed in was child brides in America, just into a Google search. Child brides in America. And I already scrolled down. Oh, look, there's a Wikipedia page for it. That'd be great for at least developing a pitch. But also I saw this. U.S. approved thousands of bride requests. And it looks like requests by men to bring in child and adolescent brides to live in the U.S. And that is in 2019. So let's open that one up as well. And remember, I'm just right-clicking and opening. That way you can see I have a lot of tabs open. But that way I can get around to seeing kind of what I can lay out all my research and still read through and pick out multiple things to look at. So let's go into this one from USA Today that talks about the thousands of requests over the past decade. Okay, this is amazing. Did you know this? So it says that this 49-year-old man applied for admission to have a 15-year-old bride, and it basically says that our government does not set minimum age requirements and that we go by whether the marriage is legal in the home country and then whether it would be legal in the state where the petitioner lives. I just don't even know what the laws would be per state. So once again, I'm branching into information that I don't yet know. And why is that important? Well, if I don't know it, maybe my readers don't know it. I might be making this video and all of you are at home watching it thinking, Amber didn't know this. But I probably not. There's so much to know about the world. So this kind of seems like an interesting article. And then let's go to that Wikipedia one, because you won't cite Wikipedia in your final article that we publish, but it's a really good place to start to get background information and to figure out if an idea is worth pursuing. And one of those reasons is because it sort of backs up, it sort of summarizes all of the little bits of information that you might find out in the internet elsewhere. Based on what Wikipedia says, this is a really tricky topic. It says that the general age of marriage is 18 in every state. And that kind of makes sense, but I know I had a cousin who was dating a 19-year-old or 18-year-old, and they decided to get married early. He was going into the military, and her mother approved. So there are probably instances where people would definitely debate it, but it's not as tragic as, let's say, or it's not as socially unacceptable. I should use those phrases instead, as say down here, exceptions in these states where we might have a 14-year-old married to a man of any age. And there's a lot of investigating here to find out if this is really a problem in the United States or if people are just being judgmental. Should we care? How much should we care? We could start researching the counter argument if we wanted to right now, and that would be fine because maybe that for me as the journalist would help me decide if this is something I even want to research. Do you guys remember that only a little more than 12 minutes ago, this entire idea that I could probably pitch to the team of journalists right now came from getting onto TED Talks and typing in I think it was children, or no, it was simply the word marriage, because in my past, like I told you, I had researched mail order brides, and that pulled up, 0 results in TED Talks. So I just typed in the word marriage, and this is where I ended up. And I think that's rather fascinating. So I've spent less than 15 minutes. I have one pitch done, and I could do this over and over until I find something that I think fits my personality, my unique interests, and the philosophy of Exchangers, so that I can give a variety of pitches to the team, and we can figure out together what are the strongest ideas to pursue for this quarter's issue.